Honestly, I needed this so bad when I was struggling to become a profitable trader. So I'll keep this really quick. If you want to learn a 1 hour chart trading strategy that's proven to work exceptionally well for me over the past decade of my trading career, that is simple enough even for beginners to learn and that uses absolutely no indicators, then stick around throughout the entire video and I promise by the end you'll have a simple 1 hour chart trading strategy that actually works. That sounds good? Go ahead and click that like button for me. Go ahead and subscribe if you are new, and I'll catch you on the other side of the intro and disclaimer. Welcome back, and our simple strategy today will be using two separate time frames. We're gonna be looking on the 4 hour chart for possible areas of value and then dropping down to the 1 hour chart to look for our possible entries. Now, as I said in the intro, this strategy is extremely simple, but do not knock it for being simple. What you'll realize throughout your trading experience is that some of the most consistent and profitable strategies oftentimes are the most simple of strategies. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 4 hour chart so I can start to explain this strategy. If you're a returning subscriber or you've seen the channel for a while, you know that I have a soft spot in my heart for areas of horizontal support and resistance. This strategy is no different. So we're on the 4 hour chart right now. As I said, we're gonna be looking at two different time frames. The 4 hour is gonna be the first time frame we look at. And on the 4 hour chart, what we're gonna look for is areas of structure that have been tested at least twice. That is our condition number one. And we're looking for that on the 4 hour chart. As you can see here on the New Zealand dollar, we have that. So if I go ahead and place my horizontal line kind of in this area of structure that's been tested a couple of times and make it a little bit tighter here. As you can see, this area was tested not only once, not only twice, but thrice over here, looking left as support and resistance here on this pair. After this first condition's met, remember, super simple. The only thing I'm gonna be looking for is I'm gonna drop down to the 1 hour chart whenever I see price, pull back into an area or get to an area that's been tested multiple times on a 4 hour chart, and I'm gonna look for very simple chart patterns. The only two that I'm gonna be looking for are double bottoms when I'm looking at a level of support and double tops when I'm looking at a level of resistance. And to add accuracy to this, I'm not only going to trade double tops and double bottoms, but I also want to see a candlestick pattern after that double top or double bottom. I'm going to explain that right now. Let's go ahead and move the chart forward here with our market replay. As you can see, we push down into our area. And what I want to do right now, since we're down here in our area of support, is I want to drop down to my 1 hour chart. Now here, do we have a double bottom? On this chart, we do in fact have a double bottom, but remember, to add accuracy to these trades, I'm not just looking for a double bottom. I'm not just looking for a double bottom, then a green candle. I'm looking for a double bottom that has a candlestick pattern. The two candlestick patterns I personally love to use are the engulfing bar and the hammer candle on double bottoms, or shooting star candle on double tops. We'll talk about that momentarily. Let's go ahead and keep pushing forward here. Okay, if I zoom in now, what do you notice? What you'll notice is that now we actually have prices coming back into that area of support, creating one bottom, our neckline, our second bottom right here. And what is that second bottom followed by? It's followed by this big engulfing bar. That's exactly what I want to see for a possible long entry, a buy entry. It's a double bottom with some type of candlestick pattern coming after or on the second bottom, along with being in our area of major support on higher time frames. And when I say higher time frames, for this strategy, it's going to be the 4 hour chart for our levels of structure, the 1 hour chart for our double bottom with a candlestick pattern at the second bottom. Now, to prove to you that I actually trade this is a trade I actually sent out to all the members of the TTC Forex University. You can see it right over here to the left side of your screen, the email analysis that I sent to all of our members of the TTC Forex University. Now, fortunately for us, this is a trade that ended up pushing higher and eventually hitting our targets on this long wicked candle right here. So we ended up coming out of this with a winning trade. So at this point, you should have a decent idea of how this strategy is going to work. Again, it's super simple, but what I'm going to do is give you a short example or a selling example so you understand all the intricacies of that. And directly after that, I'm going to go through the top 5 major pairs where I'm seeing some really good opportunities for possible trades coming in on Monday market open. Right now, it's a Friday. We're looking at going over the weekend. And then on Monday, there's some really interesting areas of value and structure that I'm seeing on 4-hour charts that could lead to some really good potential trading opportunities come next week. So stick around for that, and let's go ahead and look at a bearish example. Here for our bearish example, we're on the pound dollar, and what do you notice has happened here on this chart? We have now broken down into what? Into new lows right here. And if we look left, the most recent level of structure that was broken is right here. Then I just ask myself, it's at a level that's been tested multiple times, and I make a zone out of that level based on all the times it's been tested. So in this case, we have a level that's been tested about 4 times. So does that meet our first condition? We are in fact on the 4-hour chart. We do in fact have a level of structure that was just broken that's been tested multiple times. So with those conditions met, and actually let me elaborate on that a bit more because I didn't go over this in the beginning and now I feel kind of bad. So 4-hour levels of structure for trend continuation trades. We're going to take a look at counter trend in just a moment, but for trend continuation, I am always looking for the latest level of structure that was broken in an uptrend or a downtrend. Then I'm going to look left and see if that level has been tested multiple times. After I see that it's been tested multiple times, that's when I qualify it as what I call an OTZ, and when I start looking for double bottoms in that area. So for an area of resistance, what I'm going to be looking for a trend continuation play is always going to be the latest level of support that was broken. Then I need to look left after spotting that latest level of resistance that was broken and be sure that that level has in fact been tested multiple times again. So moving back down to our chart, you can see that that's exactly what happened here on the pound dollar. On the 4-hour chart, we have this level of support that was in fact broken. Looking left, we can see that this level has been tested multiple times. So at this point, what I want to do is drop down to a 1-hour chart once I see price start to head back up into the area I've pointed out as an optimal trading zone, or again, what I refer to as an OTZ. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and move price forward here. And we're already getting up into that zone. So let's go ahead now and drop down to the 1-hour chart. Here on the 1-hour chart, what am I looking for? For this strategy, we're waiting for price to get into this area and create a double top. Are we trading just any double top? No, we want to see a double top, and we want that second top to have some type of candlestick pattern. For me, what are those? The engulfing bar, bearish, or a shooting star bar would be the 2 types of candlestick patterns I would look for on that second top, and that's just personal preference. You can use whichever candlestick patterns you personally like to use. Let's go ahead and move the market forward again at 3 times speed because otherwise I will not catch this. We're pushing around, we're pushing up. Ooh, what do you notice here? Here we've had price push up, 1 top, neckline, push up to our second top, and create an engulfing bar. So in this case, do I have what I need to classify this as a valid trading opportunity? Yes, I do. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring on my short position tool, put it there. I like to make sure that my stop loss is above my zone, even if it's just by a pip or 2. So that's what I'm gonna do, is above the zone by a pip. And I'm gonna use a 1.4 to 1 reward to risk ratio because that's something I personally like to use. Let's go ahead and click play now, and we can speed this up to 10x to make it a little bit faster. And as you can see, price moves around a bit before finally pushing down enough to hit our targets. And for some of you, you may have pointed out that this double top has a neckline that's really deep. What I mean by that is this neckline comes all the way down close to the bodies of our swing low right here. So if that's the case, and that's how you classify a double top, that's completely fine. For me, this would work totally fine. But if you'll notice, we actually came back into this zone and created another double top with what? An engulfing candle on the end. So it gave you another opportunity, even if this neckline was a little bit too deep for your liking. And yes, those two trades were semi in hindsight. Not the first one because I actually took that trade. This one was completely in hindsight. But now what I want to do is show you examples of how to use this exact strategy for counter trend trades when you're going against the trend of the overall market. And doing so, I'm going to show you a live trade that I'm actually in. And after that, we're going to go over the top 5 major pairs. And I'm going to talk about trades that have not happened yet at all. So let's go ahead and dive into our live trade on the New Zealand yen, and then we'll go over the top 5 major pairs and take a look at some of the best trading opportunities I'm seeing for next week in the Forex market. For our counter trend trades using this exact same strategy, essentially we're just looking for a level of resistance. If we're going to be looking for a double top, we're looking for a level of resistance that's been tested multiple times. As you can see here, we have this level that also looking left has in fact been tested multiple times. So with this being the case, I'm going to drop down to smaller time frames when I'm in this area that I classify as an OTZ because it's a level of structure that's been tested multiple times by price. So now, since we have that, I'm going to drop down to a 1 hour chart and just wait for price to create a double top with some type of candlestick pattern afterwards. So let's check out what happens here on price. We'll go to 3x again so I can catch it. We have that big move down. We have prices pushing back up now, consistently pushing back up, and eventually, what do we get? If you'll look right here, we have this big push up. We have the neckline of the double top. We have prices pushing back up, and eventually we get an engulfing candle right here at the second top, at the top of our zone. So this gives me everything I need in order to place the trade. I did actually get a bit of a late entry here on this trade, which was okay because of the expected profit I thought this trade possibly had. And as you'll see, if I click the 10x speed and hit play, this trade so far has worked out really well. And I will not put you through watching this on the 1 hour chart. Let's go to the 4 hour chart so it goes faster. And that's where current price is sitting. So as you can see, this is an example of the strategy using it counter trend and also not in hindsight. As you can see, I'm actually in this trade right now live here on the New Zealand yen. And as a matter of fact, I'm actually going to exit this position live with you because as you can see, prices have now pushed down to what looks like a pretty major area of support and put in what? This long wick candle followed by an engulfing bar. That's giving me what I need to exit the position, but we're exiting this position with a pretty nice profit, about a 2.9, almost a 3-to-1 reward risk ratio, and somewhere around $5,600 in profit. There we go. We are out of that position. And now what I want to do, and before I do that, actually, this was also a trade that we sent out in the TTC Forex University. If you're interested in that program in the university, we actually have some space available. Here is that email analysis we sent out on the New Zealand yen, and that is the top link in the description, or you can go to www.ttcfxuniversity.com. If not, that is completely fine too. Just be sure you're subscribed here, and if you've made it this far in the video, go ahead and click that like button to keep up to date with all the content we release. Now, with that said, what I'm going to do in just a second is go through the top 5 major pairs and give you the trading opportunities I'm looking into for next week. But I want to do a quick lesson on patience. You see, the reason that most traders have a problem sticking to really simple strategies like this, and the reason most traders just aren't making money in general, the reason I didn't make money at first when I started trading is not because the strategy doesn't work. It's not because the strategy is so simple that it can't consistently work for a long period of time. It's because most traders lack the patience to wait on the perfect trading opportunity based on their strategies. So what tends to happen is instead of giving your strategy time to play out, you'll lose a few trades with, let's say, double tops at major levels of resistance or double bottoms at major levels of support. And then you'll go, this strategy doesn't work. I'm moving on to another strategy instead of just sticking to the strategy and being patient. Or you'll be trading this type of strategy and it'll be doing decent, but there'll be a day that you don't have trades. So you'll just go out and look for trades. And here's my point. You do not create trading opportunities. I do not create trading opportunities as a professional trader. I take the opportunities that the market, the charts, the pairs that I'm trading give me. That's the secret to trading, is not trying to go out and create an opportunity every single day. If there's a day that prices aren't doing what you need them to in order to create your perfect trading opportunity based on your strategy, your job as a professional trader is to sit on your hands and not trade anything. You don't have to physically sit on your hands, but don't trade if you don't have the opportunity to trade. You creating a trading opportunity is called you breaking your rules. What we do as traders is we wait for opportunities to present themselves to us based on a tested and proven to be profitable trading strategy and trading plan that we've already created. And if you don't have the steps to get to a profitable trading plan right now, I'll put a video in the top right corner of the screen. It's the video I did before this, and I go through the full step-by-step process of how to go from a complete beginner and how I went from a complete beginner to having a profitable and consistent trading plan. All the steps that I took. So that should be really helpful for you. Again, that link will be in the top right-hand corner of the screen, or you can just go to our channel and it's the video I did before this one. With that little lesson out of the way though, let's go ahead and take a look at the top 5 major pairs, and I'll let you in on what I consider the best trading opportunities next week using this strategy. We're going to start off here on the euro dollar 4-hour chart. What is our first step? Our first step is to look for the latest level of structure that has been broken on the euro dollar. That level is right here. And I know that's really far away from price. I'll leave it up to you. If you want to count this as a little level of resistance, that would be okay. But by far the major level of resistance that was just broken is right here. And that's the level I'm going to use. So with that being the case, I'm going to go ahead and put a horizontal line at that level. And I'm going to ask myself, looking left, can I make the excuse for this being a level that's been tested multiple times? And the answer to that is yes. If we look left here, this level has in fact been tested multiple times by price. So with that being the case, I'm looking at this as my major level of support. And next week, if we get some kind of major pullback out of the euro dollar and that pullback comes down to between 1.0110 and 1.0072, then that will be an area I drop down to a 1-hour chart inside of and look for possible double bottoms with some kind of candlestick pattern on that second bottom. Now, for a counter trend trade, we're actually looking left and we can see that there is in fact a level of structure right here. This is a level that not only has been tested this one time as resistance, but also has been tested multiple times as support and resistance in the past. This level's between 1.388 and 1.0336. We're currently inside of this level right now. So what do you think I'm looking for come Monday? Come Monday, I'm going to drop down to a 1-hour chart and I'm going to be looking to see if the euro dollar, since it is in fact overextended to the upside, we are in fact at a major level of structure on the 4-hour chart. If on Monday the euro dollar does this, creates a neckline, comes back up, creates a double top, and puts in some type of candlestick pattern at that double top, then I will be looking for possible short trades right there. So that's what I'm looking at on the euro dollar, and something that I'm looking forward to come Monday of next week is a possible counter trend trade out of the area we're in right now on the euro dollar. And again, if we get some kind of major pullback down to this level here, right around the 1.0110 level, then I'll be looking there for possible double bottoms. Next up, we're going to take a look at the pound dollar. Here on the pound dollar, let's zoom back out to the 4-hour chart and do our work. Our work consists of looking for the latest level of structure that was broken for the pound dollar that's right here. This level right here, we look left afterwards and ask ourselves, can we make the excuse for this level being tested multiple times? The answer to that is yes. If we look left, this level in fact has been tested not only once, but multiple times out of price looking in that direction. So with that being the case, first off, on the pound dollar, what I'm looking for next week will be a pullback into the area between 1.1642 and 1.1589. And I'll be looking down on the 1-hour chart in this level for a possible double bottom with some type of candlestick pattern at the end of that double bottom to tell me that I have a decent chance of winning a trade if I go long from this area. And I know throughout this video, I've only shown you winning trades, but trust me, this strategy does not win all the time and has plenty of losses. This strategy hits somewhere around a 55 to a 60% win rate. So don't expect to always win. Do your due diligence in back testing. But with that said, here on the pound dollar, let's go ahead and move on to our counter trend trading opportunity. And if you've noticed, what I like to do is point out my level below price for possible pullbacks, and above price, or at price in this case, for a counter trend move. So I give myself the most possible trading opportunities. So here on the pound dollar, we're actually also in a zone of structure that I can make the excuse for being tested multiple times. That zone of structure looks something like this. And that zone of structure, again, is right here. So this level not only has been tested as resistance, but if we look left, has also been tested multiple times as resistance and support. With that being the case, we're already in this area. What do you think my next move is going into next week? My next move going into next week, very similar to the euro dollar, is going to be waiting to see if this pair creates a neckline, pulls back up, and then creates a double top with some type of engulfing or hammer candle here on this double top down on the 1 hour time frame. But something to pay attention to is that the euro dollar and pound dollar are correlating pairs, so I'm not going to be taking both of these trades if it happens on both of them. I'll be taking the one that looks best to me. Keep that in mind as you trade correlating pairs. Getting in the same direction on a correlating pair means that if both of these trades end up losing, you're going to lose twice as much. So be sure your risk management plan has that in account for. Next up, we're looking at the dollar yen. Let's go out to the 4 hour chart. What are we looking for first? What is the latest level price broke? It's way up here because the dollar has dropped off the face of the earth this week. And this level is in fact a level of major structure that's been tested multiple times, as we can see. So with that being the case, we have an area that we can look for possible trades in if we get some kind of major push up out of the dollar yen that comes between 145.92 and 145.13. If we get some kind of major push up, I'll be waiting in this area on the 1 hour chart for possible double tops. Notice the language I'm using. I'm not going, hey, this is where price is, and I know for a fact it's coming up here. I'm not going, hey, this is where price is. Next week we'll see this right here, and that's a 100% fact. I'm using if-then statements because, again, it's not my job to come into the market next week and try to create a trading opportunity on Monday. But it is my job to be prepared for if price creates a trading opportunity for me to be able to take advantage of it. And that's exactly what I'm doing with this analysis here on Friday evening. What's next? On the 4 hour chart, we need to look at or below price to see where the next level of structure that could cause a bounce is. So what I'm seeing here is this level of support. I'll have to zoom in. I'm sure that's hard to see. This level of support, it's kind of a tiny level, but even though it's a tiny level, it's actually been tested multiple times, which gives me all the evidence I need that it could provide a bounce for the dollar yen. So next week on the dollar yen, what am I going to be doing? I'll be dropping down to the 1 hour chart, waiting for price to get into this area between 138.42 and 137.58, and waiting for possible double bottoms in this area. That's what I'm looking at on the dollar yen. Next up, we're taking a look at the dollar Swiss. Here on this pair, we're actually inside of a major level of structure on our 4 hour chart already. Looking left right here. So as you already know, I'll be dropping down to the 1 hour chart to look for possible double bottoms next week here on this pair. And in terms of the latest level of structure that was broken, it's way up here. So very unlikely that we do this, but if we get some kind of major pushback up, this will be a level I'm looking at for possible short trades in trend continuation. We'd have to do this and then do this. So this level is right here between 0.9856 and 0.9818. And it is in fact a level that's been tested multiple times. And I know what you're thinking. What do I do if this is the situation? If we have this far up to get to a level of resistance, I only trade trend continuation. So what, do I not have any trading opportunities? Well, not right now, but guess what? The easiest thing to do in this type of situation is either move on to a different pair that doesn't look like this, or be patient enough to wait for a pullback and a break of structure. Then what do you have? Then you have another level that you can, that was a terrible line, another level that you can look at for possible trading opportunities in this trend continuation environment. And that's what I'm seeing on the dollar Swiss. The next pair we're going to take a look at is the Aussie dollar. Here on the Aussie dollar, what do we look at first on the 4 hour chart? We see that price has just broken above a level of resistance. We put a horizontal line there to see that this level in fact has been tested multiple times. If that is the case, I'm going to be waiting for a pullback into this area between 0.6552 and 0.6516. In this area, I'll wait for possible double bottoms on the 1 hour chart. Next up, we're going to look for possible counter trend areas. Looking above and at price, we see that price is in fact inside of a level of resistance that's been tested multiple times as resistance and support. We'll shrink that up a bit, make it a little bit tighter, and that in fact will be our counter trend level that price is currently in. So next week, starting Monday, just like with the pound dollar and the euro dollar, I'm going to be looking in this area for possible double tops. The area exists between 0.6757 and 0.6705. Yo, if you want to get a video like this each and every week showing you the areas of structure I'm paying attention to for my own personal trades, along with the email analysis like what you've seen throughout this video, and a full training course and mentorship program, then it'd be a pleasure to have you in the TTC Forex University. You can find out all the details about that by clicking the top link in the description or going to www.ttcfxuniversity.com. If not, that's completely fine too. No hard feelings. It's been a pleasure sharing this video with you. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, be sure to click that like button for me. Go ahead and subscribe and click the notification bell if you're new. Comment if you made it to the end, and I'll like every comment that says they made it to the end. And I will catch you in the next video. Talk soon.